Well, hi everyone, and welcome to I Beg to Differ Scaffolding Instruction within Seesaw. My name is Jenny Phillips, and I'm glad you joined me today. You can access this presentation with the bit.ly that you see on the screen, or by scanning that QR code on the screen also. So I'll give you just a few minutes to get that presentation pulled up before we continue, but I do want to let you know that the bit.ly will be on the next couple slides as well if you do not get that pulled up by the time we move on to the next slide. Okay, let's get going. Again, I'd like to welcome you. I'm Jenny Phillips. I am the Instructional Technology Facilitator at Parkway School in Boone, North Carolina, and that's in Watauga County. I am beginning my 5th year there as the ITF. So I support K-8 staff. We're a K-8 school. And just a little bit about us. We use Canvas LMS for grades 3-8, and that is a district initiative. And then our district went with Seesaw for our K2 learning management system this year. And this is our first year that we have made that switch from Google Classroom to Seesaw. So again, there's that bit.ly at the top of the screen if you need to get there. I am thrilled to be an NCBOLD ambassador this summer. Okay, so here's my dog Millie, and we're going to do a little mood check, a little Millie mood check here according to the Millie scale. And she's a golden doodle. She can have lots of different moods. So before we dive in, how's everybody feeling today? If we were doing this live, I would have you hold up a finger and tell me what kind of mood you're going with on the Millie scale. You know, you'd rather be in bed, getting there, waking up, need a little bit more coffee, that chill, relaxed summer mood, you're focused, you're dialed in. And then the 5th one, I'm stoked, excited to be here. Let's do this. Okay, so think about, what kind of mood you're going for today, and hopefully it's at least a 3, 4, or 5. And you're going to be excited to be here and get and maybe learn a little something today about differentiating in Seesaw. Okay, so if you do not have a Seesaw account, you can easily set one up. That picture on your screen is a link to the Seesaw platform, and you would just click, I'm a teacher. I, again, log in with Google, but I'm going to talk a little bit as you guys are getting logged into Seesaw. So as an ITF, I've had the chance to collaborate with teachers throughout the building and our district to help integrate technology into their classrooms, using it with their curriculum and supporting their standards and their content. So I started using Seesaw about 6 years ago with my ESL students to differentiate instruction and kind of give them different ways to show what they know. I really like the functionality of it and seeing how the students were engaged and excited. So here I am 6 years later, still using it. And like I said, our district has actually adopted it, and they decided to go with the paid version. So again, we adopted it for K2. So I've had the chance to work with a lot of K2 classes over the past few years. And what I like to do is partner with them and support their content and instruction, and really just find ways to impact student learning and through using the LMS. So I've had a chance to model some ways that teachers can use this to support those standards. So again, let's take care of a little business before we get started and make sure you guys can log into Seesaw, you have an account. If not, go ahead and click that and get your account set up. And if you do have an account, go ahead and click that and get logged in. All right. So let's just kind of go over what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to take an activity and add scaffolds and supports to it, an existing activity, and take it and edit it and make it our own. And we are going to add different ways for students to respond and show what they know. And then you're going to begin creating your own activity. So let's get going. Again, this is I Beg to Differ scaffolding instruction within Seesaw. And there's that bit.ly one last time if you need it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the info on the slides first so we'll know what we're looking for. And then we're going to go into the platform live and I'll show you some things. And then you're going to have an opportunity to kind of take some time and work on it on your own. So here's a visual of what you're looking for when you get into Seesaw. I always go to the activities button, the light bulb, or you can go to either the journal or activities. And then you're looking for that activities, the library there. And then you'll have a chance to choose a subject and a grade level, and you can do a search for an activity. Okay. So when you see an activity that you're interested in, I recommend go ahead and adding that activity to your library by clicking the heart. And these are things that you might already know. I'm just kind of giving you a little background to get up to speed on what we're doing to edit the activity. So this is I'm going to go quickly kind of on this part. Anyways, click the heart. You add it to your library by clicking the heart. You cannot copy or edit an activity until you add it to your library. So that's important. I always add more to my library, and just in case I want to go back and look at it later, and I can always take it out of my library if I decide I'm not going to use it. So once it's in your library, you can go to the three dots underneath that activity and then click copy and edit the activity and kind of take it and make it your own. Okay, so let's pause for just a couple minutes and let's look at this on the platform. So I've got a Seesaw window open here, and I'm just in activities in a classroom. There is that library button that we are looking for, and that will take you to the activity library. So when you're searching, you're always searching in the community part if you only have that as a choice. So let me explain that a little bit more. Community is what you have whether your district uses it or not. The reason why I have school and district there is I can search and see what other people in the district have created. They may have created some really fantastic activities, and I can go look at what they've done. So there's that. Seesaw Lessons, that's a new section in your library, is where you're storing all your information. So let's go take a look at the community library. And again, we're going to look at searching for grade and a subject. So I'm just going to leave it on first grade, and I'm going to search for math. And then it's going to pull up some activities, and let's say I'm interested in the domino addition. I want to take a look at that. And I am interested in taking it and putting it in my library. So I click that. Now that it's in my library, under the three dots, I can have copy and edit. So that's what I was referring to on the slides. And so once you do copy and edit, it takes you in there and you can kind of take it and make it your own. Okay, so that's just the example of that. So what we're going to do now is I want you to take 3 minutes, and I want you to go do the same thing I did. Go to the community library and look under a grade and subject, and I want you to try to find maybe 2 to 4 activities that you're just going to add to your library very quickly so you can go back and look at later. All right, let's go. Okay, let's come back together here. So now that we have some activities put in our library that we want to maybe go back and look at and see what kind of scaffolding and supports we can put in place in a few minutes, let's talk about those supports. So you can put many different kinds of supports in the instructions that you're giving students in Seesaw. One of those is the visual supports. And when I first started using Seesaw, it kind of makes me laugh. I was wondering where people got all these cute little icons that they were putting in their instructions. I thought they were so neat and to the point, and it really gave the students a visual support along with the words. Well, Seesaw has a cheat sheet, an icon shortcut cheat sheet that you can download. And if you want that icon to appear, the text shortcut is next to it, and it shows you what to do and what to type to get those in the instructions. And again, we're going to look at this on the slides first, and then we're going to go to the live environment. So that's one really neat tool, is the visual support in that instructions. Okay. You can also add audio or voice instructions to go along with your typed out instructions. So to do that, you would just click the microphone, and then you would see this click button to begin recording, and you would just read the instructions aloud for those students who need to see it and hear it. And then you can add an example or some type of item, like you can attach a file. So many teachers put like a work sample that the students can look at to see what kind of work the teacher is looking for. Look at the different modalities there that you can add. Some teachers add a photo and get the students thinking about a concept. You could add a video. You can have them link out to something. So think about that as you're designing or thinking about designing activities in Seesaw. What kind of different examples or files could you upload for students to look at? So let's go back over to the live environment for just a minute here. And so I still have this domino edition pulled up. You can see how this teacher used those icon shortcuts there along with the text. There is no play button here, so the teacher did not read those instructions aloud. The teacher has a template here, and that's not the same as like a sample file. A template is something different, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So again, if you wanted to copy and edit this, you would do that again, and already copied and edited. And then let's say that you want to add voice instructions. So that would be the button there that you would click to add the voice instructions, and you could read the instructions aloud as well as giving them those visual supports in the instructions. Let's look at, let me go back to our library here, and I just want to show you a couple more examples of different things, activities. So like this is my shapes folder in my library. You can see this teacher has given visual instructions, but one thing that she did, I think she made a typo here. And so when I go and copy and edit this, I think looking at the icon shortcut, I think that should be highlighter. So I'm going to, instead of highlight there, I'm going to fix it and say highlighter and save it. And then you're going to see the word highlighter change to the icon. So that's kind of cool. You can just, if you find something, an assignment that you really like, but you're like, oh, I'd love to take it and make it do this. Also, I want you to notice here, she has read the instructions aloud. So when she
blow draw shapes. Do you like to glow draw?
So that's really a great tool to have that audio support and have the instructions read aloud. The other thing I want to show you real quick is, just one more sample. let's go down in my library here and let's look at you can see I have a lot of things in my library, and of course you can organize that and put things into folders. But so let's look at parts of a plant here. So in these instructions, it looks like she was trying to do the same thing with the icons, but just pay attention when you're doing the instructions of the syntax and what words need to go. So label there is with the colon in the front and behind it. I just want you to kind of pay attention to that. So you could easily copy and edit that and fix that. And again, she read the instructions aloud as well. So I just wanted you to see the different ways that you could go in and provide that support, and add things into the instructions. Okay, so let's look at things that you can do within templates. So templates are going to be like a file or maybe a PDF or a Google slide or something that you've put out there for students to complete their work on. So if you upload a template for students to complete their work, and or if you've copied an activity and you already have a template there that another teacher has created, you can add those supports in different ways. So the first one I want to talk about is you can, this line right here where it says video, you can add a video of yourself within the template talking to the students and teaching them and telling them some instructions or a little bit more about the template. But just know that if you add a video in a template, students can't respond with a video. So there's just one video per template. The other thing is you can just record your voice and they can hear you talking about the assignment and what you want them to do in that assignment. The other thing that I really love is you can add your voice to different items or words or pictures that are in the template. So it kind of like a read aloud function. They would just click on the little speaker there and they would hear your voice reading that item aloud. So sometimes I will take an existing template that a teacher has already created and I'll edit it and provide some of these supports in a template that's already there. So let's take a look at some of the other ways you can provide support in templates. I've taken templates with, more choices that I want a certain group of students to have, and I've made a copy for one group of students and left all the choices in, and then I've made a copy for another group of students and I've eliminated some of the answer choices. The other thing, I've put some supports in place with a picture representation. And then for one group of students, maybe put that support in place. And then the next group of students, I've left the file as is and let them put in all the text that they need to. So let's take a look at what that would look at in a live environment. I'm going to go back over here to my library and let's take a look at this life cycle. So if you wanted to, in this template here, you could, make your copy of the activity, copy and edit. And on this template that's attached, you can take it and edit it in any way. So if I wanted to add my voice here, I could click the voice. If I wanted to add text, I could. If I wanted to add a video of myself talking here, I could. But that's just one example. Let's look at another activity. Let's see. I think I'm going to go to the community here and search second grade ELA. And let's see. I think I'm going to choose this nouns and verbs. Okay, so let's say I have this nouns and verbs, and I love how they have the visual support, and I love how they have the playing instructions, but maybe one group of students needs a little more support in that. So, oh, I can't copy and edit it yet because I haven't added it to my library. So I'm going to add it to my library. And now I can copy and edit. So I'm going to copy and edit this. And on this template, I think so maybe for a group of students, I would like to select this and record the words there so they can listen. So I'm going to do this. Record voice. Green. Green. So now the students can not only see the word, but they can hear the words if they want to. And I could go through and record my voice on all of those, and then I would have that support in place for a group of students. And then I could copy it again and leave it just the text for another group of students. So you guys see how that works. Okay. So we've looked at what that looks like in a live environment. So what I want you to do now is the activities that you have copied earlier during that first 3 minutes. I want you to take some of those activities and either add some scaffolds and supports for learners in the instructions, or I want you to add some supports in place if there's a template there. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes and have some time to practice adding those on our activities that we copied from the library already. Okay, let's come back together. So we've talked about scaffolding and putting supports in instructions and any templates that we have out there, or that templates that we've gotten from assignments or activities that we've copied in editing. So let's talk about now different ways that students can respond. So a lot of times I'll have the top three ones, that I'll have are text. I'll create an activity and have students respond with text, um, voice, or photo or video. And then there's some more options under those three dots that we'll look at in a minute. So, and sometimes, it's just about giving the students a choice of which way they'd like to respond and show you what they know. So think about using, audio or a video, for students to explain a concept. There's also some drawing tools that you could use with a template to demonstrate knowledge about a concept. I tended to use audio and video with my English language learners, trying to get them to speaking as much as I could. So think about what different ways you want your students to respond, and that you can give them different ways to show you what they know. So let's look at this live for a minute. When you're in Seesaw and you have assigned, I've assigned this activity to my sample class here. This is just kind of my dummy class. So as you can see, you've got the assignment. It looks like there's a template with it. The instructions, they've used those icons. So when students go to add response, I'm just going to pretend I'm the sample student. There are the choices there that they can respond. They can add text and they can complete that sentence. And I'm just going to delete that. They can add voice, and they would start recording and tell you about what their dream is. And they can add video as well. The other thing that I want to show you real quick is your drawing tools. So this hand tool is the select tool where you click and drag objects. They can turn on their pencil tool and choose colors, and they're going to draw what their dream is. There's a marker, there's a highlighter, different kinds of markers there, and you've got the eraser. So all different ways these students can show what they know, and then of course when they're done, they turn in their work. Let's look at another example real quick. Let's see. Let's go back to my library here. And we'll look at we'll look at one that I I didn't really provide a lot of different ways they could respond, and it kind of came back to bite me here. So let's see, under holidays. Okay, so this is all about groundhogs. We had the students watch this digital book or video about groundhogs, and then they used this template and they responded with text. So I should have clicked and added my voice and read this aloud, or I should have copied and edited the assignment and provided a different way for students to respond other than text, maybe drawing or recording their voice. So next year when we do this activity for Groundhog Day, I will probably put 3 different assignments out there, or I will change it to giving the students a choice on different ways that they can respond. But some of the students had a very hard time not being able to have this read aloud and just having the option to respond as text. So that was one of the things. Let's see what else we got. So, as you're looking at the activities, I really just want you to think about all your learners and making sure that all your learners have different ways to show what they know. Okay, let's head back over here. And when you are pulling an activity in from a library that's already there, of course you do copy and edit. So let's think about you creating your own activities now for students. So I want you to think about your content, your standards. Think about the different kind of learners that we have, their needs, how you want them to access your content through an activity, through those instructions, through the, if you want to do a work sample, how you want to get them creating and showing you what they know through that activity. So as you can see, it's pretty simple to create an activity. There's that create activity button. So let's look at that in a live environment. It's right there under your library. It's going to be under your library, and you just go to create activity. You're going to give your activity a name, and then this is where you start typing out those instructions. And again, if you want those visual supports, you use the icons that they have provided for you there. And if you want to add your voice and read the instructions aloud, you would do that after you type them out. If you'd like to add a sample, there are those modalities to add instructions or an example, or if you want to have them look at a photograph or some kind of file, then there's that. And then there's the template. And so this is going to be kind of take the most thought. We've looked at a lot of activities today with templates, the domino activity, that groundhog activity, the I have a dream activity, the parts of a plant. So lots of different templates. Some of these people probably created them in depending on what their platform is, Google Slides or Google Docs or PowerPoint or Word, just whatever your platform is, you can use to create a template. Some teachers have scanned in a hard copy of a file and scanned it in on the copy or a printer and had it as a PDF and uploaded that as a template. So you do have all kinds of options there as far as creating the template. And then you can add your notes on your assignment if you want. And those, of course, are only visible to the teacher. So that's the basics of creating your own activity. So for the next few minutes, I would like us to think about an activity that we want to create from scratch. We've pulled in some to our library, we've copied and edited others. So now let's think about us being the creator of our own activity to support our own content and our learners that we have. So let's take a few minutes and finish up with this. So you, just to clarify, you are going to the Seesaw library, your library, and you're going to click create activity, and you're going to work on creating your own activity. And you might not get finished, but at least try to name it, get the instructions there, and think about what content you're focusing on. And then maybe you can start working on a template. Okay, hi guys. I just wanted to check in with you. You have about 30 seconds to finish working on that activity that you're creating from scratch. And then we're going to wrap up here our session. So, about 10 more seconds, and then you're going to rejoin me. Okay, guys, let's come back together. So, covered a lot. We've talked a lot about ways to put those supports and scaffolds in place within the Seesaw LMS platform. I hope I've given you a good kind of a foundation for looking through that library and use editing activities that you can use for your learners and creating your own activities. So what I did for myself this year, I kind of set a goal for myself to create 5 of my own activities and or take 5 and copy them and edit them and make them work for my learners that I served. So that was just kind of one thing I did for myself. As you're planning, thinking about your year ahead, think about doing that. Maybe one Seesaw activity a month that you create for your learners. So let's wrap it up here. We have this Jamboard, the link there. If you'll click on it, there's the link, the QR code, or the shortened link, the bit.ly, and it will take you to this Jamboard. And this is just kind of a chance for us to kind of put our brains together and talk about some ideas for using Seesaw with all of our learners. So we've added a couple sticky notes here. Students could use them to record how-to videos to explain a concept. And then that's something students could do. Something you could do is you could upload an example of the work expectation in the instructions. So go ahead and think about your content and your learners and click on the sticky note and choose a color, any color you want, and type out some ideas that you have for using Seesaw with your learners, and hopefully we can learn from each other. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me today. Hope I've given you some ideas, and we'll get some ideas from each other on this Jamboard, and looking forward to seeing what you guys have and taking some of those and using them myself. Thanks again for joining me, and see you next time.